Stonkers off guard. They need to try and hit them fast, hit them hard early in the series. If you let these guys establish the rotation, get comfortable, they've shown us this year that they can already beat and take games and series off our LCS level competition.
We're going to be starting ourselves off with offense. Coming out from Stonkers, that's a great first shot. Pick that one out.
You know, I was a bit worried when I was going against the analyst desk again earlier on. Picked against them, and Solary made me look pretty silly, but so far so good. Stonkers 1-0, and that is way too much space to be given them from that dangerous kind of range.
It's also a little bit of a statement of intent. We've seen so many times that that sort of space has been given, but it hasn't been taken by the offensive team. That is very much just sort of informing the opponent that, you know, you do that, we will take advantage. We are not going to miss our chance at the RLCS spot. Now Stonkers looking out for that second goal. Good bump on the way through. It's going to allow the rest of the Stonkers lineup to start moving up. Now Tox has got a midfield option if he chooses to take it. Goes for stake, but it's just a little bit too high. Opening minute of this game has been all Stonkers. Solary just haven't been able to really establish much of anything. They were very defensive earlier on when we saw them against Endpoint. I don't think that's going to quite work this time around. It seemed like a lot of what they were getting against Endpoint was caused by Endpoint's mistake, but so far in this game, Stonkers not looking too much similar. Now we've got a little bit of Solary offense, but it's very quickly dealt with.
Yeah, Solary earlier on today sat in defense quite a lot against Endpoint because they got early leads in a lot of those games. They were in front and they didn't really have to go hunting for more goals, but now they might have to, because I think they're probably going to be under pressure for the majority of this series, and they already are. Of course, the main issues that you have... Oh, that was almost an opportunity for Solary, but I was going to say the main issue you have when you play against this Stonkers lineup is the speed that the attack bounces and reads on pretty much any surface is very, very difficult to deal with. They're incredibly confident in their ability to get those reads and to beat their opponents to the ball. And you can already tell that Solary are aware of that. They're trying to get those reads early as their opponents to make sure that they don't get dominated in that particular part of the matchup.
Solary have got prolonged pressure now. Exotic didn't leave it. Instead, lets Meloshishu move forward for the shot. And that is fantastic communication to go on with an even better pass.
A great strike there by Meloshishu, top corner. And just like earlier in the day, they're not holding back when they pass or shoot the ball. They are letting it rip. And we have a tie game. It went to the game 5 when they played each other in league play of the rival series. I wouldn't be surprised to see this series go the distance as well. Already, both teams causing each other problems in game 1. However, it's worth mentioning that the Stonkers goal was more to do with the defensive misplay. Now that would have been as well, but Stake has recovered and got the save. Both teams are feeling the pressure at the back, Shogun.
Yeah, it really does seem like we're waiting to see which team will fully settle down in this series. If either of these teams fully settle down in this series, this has the potential, with the stakes that are on the line, to just be incredibly scrappy, and you would fully understand why it would happen. Exotic gets an open shot. Tox now on the transition. As Kyrian has to try and buy as much time as he possibly can. He's got some teammates back. Meloshishu finally getting himself into the rotation. But a little bit of a scary moment there. You do not want to be facing down a 1v2 with so little time remaining. Stake. He's got Zamu moving up with him. A little bit of offensive time now for Stonkers. They've been pretty, you know, starved of this so far this game. They had a very good period of it in the opening minute. Not really managed to find quite so much since then, since that opening goal. Stake now to the midfield. Tox. He's got over the top of one player. Still waiting for the first major opportunity to break the deadlock. Tox goes to still boost in the back corner. Now he can be passed to. Has he got anyone else around? No. Recognizes that all of his players are behind him. Instead, he's going to try and take some more resources.
So far, Solary hanging in there mechanically with Stonkers. It doesn't look like there's any real advantage for either team, and that's a wicked pass, well read by Samway. But it's still Solary who have had the better chances towards the end of this game. We're inside the final minute now. That was close for Samway as it came off the ceiling. But the final pass is failing to connect for Stonkers. They're going to need to try and land that one. Or do they? One's just rolled right through, and out of nowhere, they've got 2-1 lead. Samway just dunked it past one, and there's nobody covering the goal.
Yeah, just expected to play for a challenge. Instead, the ball was teed up for a shot on net. 39 seconds remaining. And this one has now been put back into the hand of Stonkers. They haven't had much of the offense, but they've managed to get themselves the lead. Kyrian into the midfield. That's already covered. Zamu is going to now just chase this one down, take as much time as the clock as he possibly can, maybe set up for another goal, but that is way in the back of the minds right now for Stonkers. All they need to do is see this one through and put themselves one step closer to that spot. Melashishu just going to follow this one down. Solary running out of time here. Need to get that one big opportunity, but they've not got anybody around. Finally, Kyrian moves in. That's a very unorthodox infield pass. Came in from the challenge, and Melashishu just couldn't react in time. That's game number 1 for Stonkers.
Stonkers get the win off a careless defensive misplay from their opponents. Well, we had a couple, perhaps, simultaneously. First, we had a very risky infield dribble with the player making the dribble on the wrong side of the ball, not covering the goal side 50-50. And at the same time, the entire defensive backline dispersing and making their way into corners to grab boosts. You can't really play that risky strategy against a team like Stonkers, who are so quick in the challenge and who are going to be very solid in the 50-50s as well.
So, game 1 down, and I would say, Johnny, very little to separate the two. Yet Stonkers got the win, but it felt like Solary were the better team in the second half of that. So, a lot of series for us to start figuring out here. Game 2 is going to give us a much clearer picture as to what to expect.
Well, we could definitely see a lot more from both teams. Like you said, we didn't get to see too much from Stonkers at the end there until just a 50-50 went into the net. But, you know, you can expect to see lots of high pressure play when you have them on the field. They like to send the ball into the back wall multiple times in a row, get as much pressure on the other team as possible, and then after they've run out of boost, they'll score on them with a great mechanical play with precision. Solary, on the other hand, the plays in offense that I've been most impressed by have been their quick passes, followed up by those also precise strikes. So it's really just depending on now who can get their offense rolling. I think there's a lot more in the tank for both teams. What on earth is happening here? Zamu! This could even be a ridiculous goal in the last game.
That is a mistake that cannot be afforded at this level of play. And unfortunately for Solary, they're doing what Endpoint did to them earlier on. They're giving up goals that do not need to be given up. These are the small mistakes that can cost you at this level. And Stonkers have taken another early lead. We're going to see what they can do with that. But Solary will be desperate just to start one of these games without giving up something so early on.
It's just maybe an over amount of respect, too much respect being shown to the flip reset, and not enough thought being given to just actually hitting the ball in defense. Maybe Solary have to go back to the basics for a while, because that was diabolical defending from them. 1 minute into the game, and they're already down by 1. Unfortunately for them, the goal that lost them last game and the one that's got them in trouble here could have easily been prevented had they just been a bit more careful with their last man on the goal line.
Certainly been caught out more often than they'd like to. Melashishu taking the control of the ball. They're getting caught out so often here whenever they try and dribble their way out there inside the field. Getting caught in traffic and caught in danger. Oh, we got the ball in the corner. Exotic 0 boost. He'll do well to make something of this, but he almost did. Fox just leaving the ball towards the midfield. Zamu takes his time, but he's giving over to Kyrian. Stake has got to try and find the corner. He's got Tox over there to try and aim for. But Tox didn't take the ball either. Solary have had a few chances now to try and place in the midfield, but all of their passes have been so close to the goal line that the defender can just very easily take control of it. Is this one going to be any different? No, this time around just a little bit high up. Going to cause some chaos, but maybe they put too many players forward. That is a heavy first touch, though. Counter-attack does dissipate for Stonkers. Maybe they've got a way of continuing this. Zamu puts it down straight through the middle, and they've got 2-0.
Very nice pass by Tox. Now that is more like it offensively. We're not relying on a huge defensive blunder there. I love the position at the back post as well. Zamu's getting over there, away from the line of sight of the opponents. They're maybe not expecting him to be hitting that ball as early as he did. You know, they've not had to do anything too crazy in order to get these goals, but they are getting the goals, and that's reminiscent to Solary's games earlier in the day when they played against Endpoint. They were just winning without having to show off exactly what they can do offensively.
Well, you were talking about line of sight, and if Solary aren't careful right now, this series could get out of their line of sight very quickly. Meloshishu tries to make a difference here. He's got his team back up by 1, and he's given his team plenty of time to do it, but this was a careless touch from Zamu.
Tried to get the ball clear there, but ended up passing it straight into the path of, so far in this tournament, the most deadly striker for Solary. To the ball again, and that's going to be another goal. Meloshishu gets the second one, and we have a tie game.
And just like that, Solary have announced themselves in the series. They managed to bring it back last time, but they didn't manage to finish the job. As we do put ourselves all even, loads of time still on the clock. I suppose we go into game 2.5 at this point. As we try and see whether or not Solary can get themselves on the board and tie us up at 1 game apiece. That's a good little challenge over to Kyrian. Got a few players to try and beat. But the challenges are now suddenly going very better for Solary. Exotic. This is all of his boost to get into the corner, but Zamu and the rest of Stonkers not going to fall for any tricks. Fox now. The pop-up. Wins the challenge well. It's going to be a race to this one. Stake straight back down, and it's going to be Solary looking to transition. Do they have any passing options around? No, not really. They're going to have to try and focus on defense. Thankfully, they already got 2 players on the backboard. That is a great challenge win from Kyrian. This is a way through now. It's Meloshishu to Exotic! And 2 goals down has been changed to a 1-goal lead.
Fantastic team play again by Solary. We saw the win in the midfield by their first aerial player. Now, he didn't need to go for the mind game there, but the ability to pull that one out the bag and set up Meloshishu for the pass in field, that was very well done by Solary. They're allowed to have so much time on that play, all because the aerial challenge ended up not being a 50-50. It was Kyrian actually managed to make that play happen. He's got his team ahead here. Now he's got his team saved on the goal line. Everybody stepping up for Solary. Are they going to get another goal here? It's bottom left corner. Exotic gets another goal, and they are running away with this one now.
And this is where they were so deadly against Endpoint, when they've got a lead, when their opponents have to come to them, and they can break on the counter-attack. They've got themselves up to 4 goals in less than a minute and a half. It has been an incredible turnaround of their fortunes, and for Stonkers, they now have to play into a play style that Solary have near perfected so far today. Gonna be over to Exotic. We'll leave it for Kyrian. In fact, now Kyrian finds himself by himself all alone, but Exotic removes the danger. Meloshishu takes his time. It's been something that Solary have done very well. They don't panic when they've got the ball, but this has become a little bit more complicated than they needed. Nobody quite knew how to attack that one.
Yeah, it was a bit confusing in the back there. We're seeing effective mind games by Solary in offense, but defensively they'll need to just start hitting the ball, because they have been in trouble a few times this series by just letting it go through uncontested. But they've still got that 2-goal lead. They're holding on here. This is the spot that Stonkers like to be in. They want to force their opponents into that final third and keep them there. Solary have not panicked yet. They're staying well in control in game 2.
Chance though, and that's a dangerous way to play the ball, but the only way for defense to escape was to put it in the danger zone. Got away with it pretty well. 20 seconds now. Goal needed, and needed soon for Stonkers, but ball being played to their side of the field was the last thing they wanted to see. Kyrian fakes the first challenge, buys plenty of time for Meloshishu, who has been outstanding this game and has sparked a fire that has given Solary game number 2. Johnny boy, we're going to head to 1 win apiece as we put in another one for Kyrian. He's got himself on the board, and so have Solary.
And I think you said it there, Meloshishu, he has been on fire. He, in fact, I think right now might be the player who is playing at the highest level in this tournament. And if he can keep that up, maybe, just maybe, Solary will be the favourites from this point onwards. They've just scored 5 goals in a row against a team who really don't concede this many that often. It's hard to beat Stonkers to the ball this many times in a game, but the mechanics are definitely there for Solary. They look impressive in that aspect of the game, and if you want evidence that Stonkers are an incredibly mechanically gifted team, you don't need to look further than their wins against, you know, current RLCS teams. Well, Endpoint, who are still fighting for their spot, Veloce, Reciprocity, who were obviously in the RLCS last season. Now the organization has left the team. They all lost to this same Stonkers lineup in recent months. They are the real deal, and Solary are proving today that so are they. I think these two teams have to be the favorites to qualify for RLCS Season 10 through this tournament. You've got Endpoint waiting in the lower bracket, but I mean, if you're Endpoint right now, you're looking at them, I don't think you really want to give a go at either one based on how well they've played.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that as well, because at the start of this tournament, I would have said if you're Endpoint, you'd prefer to play against Solary, but it was a team that just figured them out earlier on, so neither matchup really looks all that good, but that is a road that we'll cross as and when we get to it, and as we all know, that sort of pressure can do any number of things to these players, so that could be a very different series when we do reach it. But story for this series right now is 1 win apiece. Solary blasting into game 2. They've got themselves into the series, and for Johnny, you had the most amount of time to, you know, take a real look at Stonkers. What is it about their gameplay? If you could nail it on, so like 1 or 2 things, what is it that they've got to click on for them to start taking over?
It's got to be the quick reads. They have to start playing as fast as humanly possible, because when they're playing their best, they're, I think, playing reads off the side walls and the back wall as fast as any other team in the world. But right now they look like they're playing a bit more timid and slowly. They're afraid of making mistakes, and that's understandable when we had a game 1 and a game 2 that did have mistakes on both sides. And there was a bit of an unfortunate one there. Stake trying to take off for an aerial, but Tox just landed on him. Yeah, for me that's the win condition, or the best win condition for the Stonkers. They just need to step up the pace. They need to play as fast as they can. As they accelerate, they tend to improve in terms of results.
It's going to be an attempted transition. Exotic needs contact. He's done it. Leaves Zamu all by himself, and he's been removed from the field. A boost steal as well. This is a great position to be sat in if you're Solary. Melashishu looks for the top corner, couldn't find it. And very brave defending to send absolutely nobody for the ball. They all knew it was out. Follow up from Melashishu, and Solary have got their man on fire this series. Melashishu is unstoppable.
Yeah, this guy is just taking over the promotion tournament here. He right now is the player to beat, and he happens to be playing for the team in front, unsurprisingly. Melashishu just dragging Solary into a winning position here. But he's not had the heaviest carry I've ever seen. Exotic and Carrion definitely doing their part as well. How on earth are Stonkers going to handle this guy when he's playing at his best, when it matters most? That was a momentary open net, but no momentum for Melashishu to utilize. Stonkers stuck in defense. They want to find a way out. But this is a really, really tough Solary team who are playing some fantastic Rocket League. You know, like the analyst has said, they are the team on the streak right now. 6 wins in a row to finish off league play. Maybe that is giving them this confidence coming into the tournament today. Great placement by Carrion. 2-0. He had a goalie pre-jump into a void, but he got it past him with ease.
That's a glorious pass over to him. Lovely little tap down on the shot. And I think this is the point I wanted to make after Johnny, is that the good thing about how Melashishu is playing at the moment is that it's 2 forms of carry. There's the one where you have to focus your entire game around the player that is hot. And then you've got this where Melashishu could have a bad game up next. And realistically, it wouldn't affect the team too much because they're not over-relying on him. He's just performing very well. And this is going to be so crucial to Stonkers. They get a goal, they get it quick.
That's a great pass again. These assists are top tier by both teams. They're picking out the player waiting in the middle and making the shot so much easier as a result. Stonkers now, the team trying to come back from 2 goals down to win. Solary were able to do it in the last game. That whiff from Tox is going to result in another Solary possession momentarily. Where is it? Selmy beats Melashishu to the ball. But look, for a moment there, the boost is running out on multiple members of Solary lineup. Shouldn't be too much of an issue to get this ball clear. What a great pass though by Solary. Look at how they're able to connect so quickly with each other in and around the box, and it's making Stonkers' life so difficult. They always have to keep an eye not only on what's happening in front of them, but what's happening to the left, to the right, and behind them as well.
They're doing a great job so far of trying to hide them. That was awkward. Melashishu just taps the ball out of the way of the oncoming attacking player. But on the side of Stonkers right now, it's very dangerous because you've got to try and figure out what is coming at me. Is it a shot? Is it a pass? Is somebody out of my camera angle right now? Got to get all of those answers completely correct, otherwise you are going to get caught. And you're going to find your team another goal down. It's a great negative angle shot. Exotic looks for the follow, couldn't get it on target. We've got Solary currently on the offense, and they've been very deadly from here previously. If they can secure the mid boosts, heck, even the back boost, they can try and lock this down, but that is a fantastic touch. Enough pressure for Stonkers to move now. This is another pass. These are so dangerous right now, all of them. Laser focused onto the front bumpers of the cars. Right now, the defense's only options have been to just meet them at the point of contact.
And now we've seen this in the past as well. These infield passes, accurate as they are, can be risky if the defense starts to see them coming. We did see Solary there getting in the way of one. Have they identified the plan that Stonkers are trying to come back with? They're just going to try and utilize those direct passes by the looks of things. They've got 55 seconds to try and find one. Solary's still a favourite here. Every now and then we have a Stonkers miss. That's relieving the pressure. They really can't afford to be making these mistakes when Solary already have the lead.
It's going to be just off the post. Follow-up from Kyrian. Is 2 goals going to be enough? It should be. But this series has trained me to not take anything for granted right now, and neither should Solary, but they should have this game.
Really nice position in the back post by Kyrian. There was no one covering the goal for Stonkers. You know, time was getting away from them. They had to make a move up front. And that does sometimes get you caught out of position at the back and out of players to read these passes and to get in the way of them. A chance maybe for Samway with a big clear. He's going to flick it past one, but it's right into Kyrian, who's still able to carry away. But nice challenge. Oh my goodness, it's just bounced in. Samway has annihilated Kyrian in this play.
That is just the softest of all touches. Exotic doesn't stand a chance. 20 seconds on the board. 1 goal separates. Whoever takes this will take advantage in this best-of-7 series. Stake now over to the corner. They'll look for another touch. Almost went for net, actually. I think the more basic play was to put off the backboard, but on the counter-attack, is it in? No, off the crossbar. We continue to search for this extra goal. Tops for the backboard. Should be Kyrian's to clear. He's done exactly that. And now Melashishu on target. Gets the follow! And he's dunked the ball for a 2-goal lead.
That is a monster clear by Kyrian, relieving all the pressure. And Melashishu didn't have to dunk it in, but why not? Make it an impossible game for your opponents. But these clears at the end of this game completely relieve the pressure that really could have been on Solary there. They weren't afraid to absolutely slam the ball off the back wall. When you do that, there's always a risk that you're going to hit it straight into the ceiling and it bounces into the middle, even faster for your opponents to utilize. But that's confidence from Solary, and that's the sort of plays that they're going to need in the latter games in this series when the pressure really starts to kick in, because they're one step closer to RLCS now. Just 2 more games needed for them. But yeah, they definitely look like the team on form at the moment. Melashishu still putting in an absolute shift and a half. The Stonkers are the team who've got to step up.
And for Solary, it's one way to describe them is slippery. You can't get them locked down in their own side of the field. The moment you try and commit, they've escaped, you've got no one back, and you are at their offensive mercy. It has been a defensively driven effort over on their side, and this would be an upset if they would go on to win this, I reckon. But they are making this look like they are just not feeling any of the pressure. They've got a plan, and they are executing.
Yeah, like you said earlier, they've got 3 players in their team who can step up and carry on any given day. Today it seems to be Melashishu who's the one who's doing most of the heavy lifting. But I wouldn't be surprised to see either Exotic or Kyrian just take over the game as well. When you've got a team full of players who have that mechanical ability and who have that individual skill, you're making your opponent's lives even more difficult, because they don't just have one star player that they're trying to isolate, that they're trying to take out of the game. They've got a team full of them. Now, usually you can say the same thing about Stonkers, but unlike Solary, they don't have one player just really standing out and making their lives a whole lot easier as a result today.
I mean, attempted setup. Kyrian gets over to Exotic. Here's those transitions we just talked about. Off the backboard now, Exotic leaves it. Yeah, well, thankfully not send all three, but now we see some transitions from Stonkers up to the wall. Exotic for the backboard, and just so difficult to try and pin them down. Melashishu tries to get a set, but seems like Solary just willing to play the slow game at the moment. They're not going to try and push for this too early. Will they get punished for that, though? Tox with the set. It's going to be the slowest shot of all time. And unfortunately, it's not enough to really set somebody off.
You'd expect these bounces to be read more effectively by Stonkers. That's what they're known for. You'd expect these final shots to be flying on target much faster. And they're not able to make their plays work right now. They're still in an okay position in this game. But somebody has to step up and make an incredible play happen to really lift their spirits, to really change the direction that this series is going. It's 2 games in a row for Solary. 2 games that have been won quite comfortably and well deserved by them. Personally, I'm looking at Tox in particular to really step up, because I've seen it from him in the past. He's often the player who can do something special and then really start to turn the series around in the favor of Stonkers.
I mean, attempted setup. Nice little continuation of the play, but do they have the players around? Stake aims for net, couldn't find it. Kyrian might have had it covered, but I suppose we'll never find out. We're still on our search for the first goal of this game. Kyrian now, nice pop-up, but very heavy. Means that Tox now play it to Zamu. Almost got the second touch. You've got a set here. Kyrian, last player back, but you can always see they've always got somebody loitering around in the midfield. Those passing options always around. There's a shot on target, and how many times can this keep happening?
Well, we saw this exact same play ending game 1 in favor of Stonkers. This time, it's Stonkers who are the team getting caught out of position on the wrong side of a 50-50, and Melashishu is again the player who's finding the back of the net, who's causing problems for Stonkers, and Solary are continuing their rampage.
The challenge game has become so big in this series. We now see Kyrian looking to try and help his team set up a 2-goal lead. That could very well help them on their way to series point and RLCS qualification point at that. Shishu, the star man right now. Over to Zamu, over to Stake. This could be it, the big play that they need, but couldn't drop it down. It was a near impossible shot to take anyway, but it's one that they could just do with, squeezing in for them. Now the follow-up, off the crossbar, and it's in.
And that is the confidence that has been missing from the Stonkers shooting today. Look at the speed that Stake gets up to that shot, and how about that for placement? I mean, it was an open net, but you still love to see it going off the top corner post, and that is then back in the game. Stonkers finally get some kind of offense going that they're used to seeing. Now here comes another one, and this is exactly what we expected to see from them.
This feels like a Game 1 rerun at this point. We've seen the challenge goal, we've seen a lead given away, and we've seen a team score multiple goals within barely any time at all. Stonkers just throw themselves back into this series, re-announcing their intention to take it. Now with 2 minutes on the clock, it's Solary who have got all the work to do if they want to turn this around. Stake for Zamu is going to try and leave that for as long as he possibly can, realizing that no one from Solary was really going to try and chase it down. We've got Kyrian coming on the force. Not a great pass to him originally. Passes it straight back to Exotic. Wants the block. And that's great defending, though. Gets into the corner. Gives plenty of time for Stonkers to reset their defense, get boost, and now start to play it out.
What a step up by Stake. 2 goals. 2 quick reads off a back wall. 2 great shots. Confidently struck. And now 2 goals to 1. In favor of Stonkers. They're looking for a third. They're not going to hold back and sit on a 1-goal lead. Tox puts in another one. And have they finally woken up in this series?
And a rare mistake from Melashishu. Tried to pop it, didn't have anyone around that could follow. Well, he did actually, but unfortunately for him, it was on the other team. 2 goals up now. And we are looking to evening up this series. We were after our first big close series today, Johnny. This is starting to look more and more like it.
It absolutely does. And this is looking more and more like the Stonkers that we have come used to seeing in the recent months. Such a quick team and so scary and confident with their reads off pretty much any surface on the field. It doesn't matter where the ball's bouncing. You're going to get beaten to it by these guys because they just jump up 10 times earlier than you do, and they actually get the hits on the ball when they make these early plays on it. And you can see a clear difference as well. Stonkers, they are not holding back when they get in front, like Solary prefer to do, like they did earlier on many times against Endpoint. No, Stonkers, they prefer to just continue attacking and just keep on trying to add to their goal tally. This is another opportunity for Stake. He's going to put that one on target, saved by Carrion. There's very little time left for Solary if they're going to get anything out of Game 4, sorry.
There was one final shot there. Tox has taken over it. He'll try and waste as much time as he can with this air dribble. But you do make a great point as well, Johnny, about how they are all-out offense. And I think that sort of, you know, links into what we were talking about earlier on about how momentum-based Stonkers are. Because they don't change playstyles at any moment. There's no shift in their momentum, in their pacing, which means if they do start getting running, it is the same playstyle game after game after game, and it's up to their opponents to try and disrupt it.
Yeah, Stonkers are a team who would rather play at breakneck speed. They would rather play basically as if they're in free play as a team with a bunch of opponents on the other side of the field. That's it. They just look like they're in free play when they're playing at their best. It doesn't matter what the score is. Whereas Solary, you know, they're willing to use all 3 players in offense. They're willing to let anybody make a big play on the offensive side of the field. But if they don't have to, they're less inclined to do that. They're more likely to sit back and see if their opponents will overextend in order to add to their lead. And maybe that's not the best play against Stonkers, who have actually looked more uncomfortable when they're forced back into defense and when they're you know, being challenged for these aerial battles.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say because Stonkers, I believe this is what they've been trying to do the whole time. I don't think it's been a case of nerves preventing them because we've seen so many times them getting caught out with a third man moving up preemptively when they do just lose the challenge. This game just looked like the first time it clicked properly, where you moving of everyone up offensively actually works because you're winning the race to the ball, you're winning the challenges, and therefore you don't have to deal with the counter pressure that comes with losing those situations. So this all now starts to come down to the race to the ball. Can Solary deal with that pressure? Can they get the ball on their side of the field to really work with? Otherwise, Stonkers may have settled into this.
Yeah, like Stonkers in the last few minutes of that game that we just saw looked like they were playing the best compared to Solary at any point in the series. They would have beaten them. And look at this. That is another phenomenal pass. Tox with perfect placement, puts it in. This level of play from Stonkers has yet to be answered.
And it's the corner yet again. So many plays coming from there. Just been picked up every time and put pixel perfect onto the attacking player's hood. So much of this has come down to the assists. And Stonkers seem to be the team that's doing it better. They've got themselves in their momentum. They've got themselves in their rhythm as they look to try and put themselves onto series point. Played back now to Tox. He'll put that over to Stake. I don't think doing much about the passing play. Is this a mistake now? And Solary have their chance to maybe put some pressure on, but look at how quick Stonkers were to retake control of the ball. As they look for goal number 2, they will be unrelenting under this period of pressure. Exotic tries to get it over the top of the third man, but that is a good little tap down, and Tox immediately races for the challenge. This is going to be the test now for Solary. You're going to be able to get it out of your final third, but can you win the race after that?
That quick brace from Stake in the last game has brought Stonkers to life. They are not holding back at all anymore. They are racing to every single ball, and Solary are having to, you know, deal with it. Oh well, that's one way to deal with it. It's just bounced in. Now, this might be the case of Stonkers playing too fast. Look at the over-rotation here by Tux. He just got there too early and re-jumps as well. You know, that's the danger, that's the risk you run when you try to play at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You might go too fast for your own good and get into position too early. Still, largely, Solary have not had a good answer for this playstyle that Stonkers are having. They're just waiting for the mistake to maybe happen. That's a good save by Melashisu.
Is waiting for the mistake to happen, the right way of playing this. Stake now takes out 2 players with the challenge. Tox on net. Couldn't quite get it there in time. He did have Zamu moving forward, and it's another push forward on the offense that almost gets caught on the counter. It's the risk right now on Solary. Is that, yes, we are going to see Stonkers press a lot of players forwards. But will Solary be able to take advantage of that? And played over the top again. Tox just trying to find another player on his team. It's going to be a light shot towards Melashisu, who has calmed down now in this series. He had his moment where he was just on fire, on form. Now it might be someone else that needs to step up on this squad.
Indeed, I was going to say, Melashisu definitely did his part today already. We are looking to the whole team to step up and prove that they deserve that first RLCS spot that's being handed out today. You know, based on what we're seeing today, I think either one of these teams would have to be the favorite going down into the lower bracket against Endpoint. However, we've seen it in the past, and it'd be a heartbreaker to see it again. When you go down to that lower bracket, you don't have momentum on your side, and there's 2-1 now in favor of Solary.
And it's the corner for another goal. These teams are putting on an absolute clinic when it comes to passing out of the corner. Everyone is so accurate, so precise, and so unbelievably deadly. From both squads, here's going to be Kyrian to finish it off the post. I can't tell which way the momentum is going in this series, Johnny, and I absolutely love it.
And this is the exciting Rocket League we're hoping to see today. I mean, this is why you can enjoy watching games at this pace, because if one team is willing to step up the gears all the way to the maximum and the other team has to do likewise, now mistakes are being forced and all the plays have to be perfect, because the smallest miscalculation, the smallest miss hit on the ball will send it flying in the wrong direction.
Exotic in the corner now. 90 seconds on the clock. And it is Stonkers that need the win, but they've got to try and take this off Exotic first. He's managed to get 2 players to move. And the whiff is not going to help, but now they've got a chance to counter-attack. Passing play with the Tox. The 1-2, give and go! And it's going to be enough! 2 each!
What a shot by Tox. He ran in field here, came out initially from Snake to Samway, but Carrion wasn't even in a bad spot to save this shot. It was just hit so hard and so high that he couldn't reach it in time. That is a brilliant goal team equalizer by Stonkers. They got back into the last game with a great solo effort by Stake. Now their whole team combined come back late in game number 5 with from Tox, but he's got coverage behind him. Still, Solary in a very advantageous position here. There's not a lot of boost on the Stonkers defense, and the entire team commits for the ball there. Luckily, his recovery was immediate.
Samway might try and find the bump here. He's got at least one. And Shishu tries to find someone on the far side. This next goal is so big, Johnny. Whoever gets it, series point. Will it come from this shot? Follow up from Samway. Doesn't go on target. Stake looks to keep it going. 2 players committed, though. Stonkers will have to try and rotate back now. They've got 1 player gone. Melashishu's called off. They're looking to try and keep that pressure, though, but Solary, in a position they've done so well in previously, couldn't quite get the coordination to get all their players out. Now it's like a backboard. Exotic, though. Clears to Kyrian for the net, but Tox will easily push that to the side. Now he looks to continue. 2 players taken out by Tox. Plenty of room to breathe. Samway is his partner in crime up in offense. As Stake looks to keep that pressure on. Now this does look a little bit curious on the defensive side, but Kyrian does just shuffle away from the pressure. Will we get one more opportunity, or is it overtime that we are going to go to? Looks like it's going to be the OT. Game 5 hangs in the balance.
Exotic's put in a great shift here. We're talking a lot earlier about Melashisu and what he's done for his team. Now Exotic getting 1 goal, 1 assist, and a whole pile of great saves to keep Stonkers at bay. They have to do it at least one more time. Where's the goal going to come from? Here is Exotic. He's demoing from behind. Samway Nice ball pressure on the recovery. I'm loving the strategy by Solary here. They don't want to sit back and let the Stonkers come at them. They're trying to have a fight in the midfield and, you know, accepting the aerial battles with open arms.
Yeah, you get the feeling that if it's a midfield battle that we get, it would favor Stonkers. They've just been the better team so far this series when it comes to those challenges. Well, just in the midfield and just trying to be that little bit faster. It's going to be off the backboard. Tox looks to try and get up, but Melashishu keeps it away from those players. And there was a couple of players committed as well from Stonkers. It's a powerful clear, though. And this feels all too similar to their regular season game, where it was game 5 and it took a 5-minute overtime. Now we see game 5 and we have another overtime. These teams have just been unable to be separated all season long. Melashishu leaves the ball, realizes he's got no infield passing options, so don't just give that away to your opponents. Now goes for it this time around, but it's only as far as Tox, who powers the ball long.
End-to-end stuff in game 5 overtime. What a game this would be to win for either team. Snake looking for the triple touch. It gets away from him. Melashisu's going to take it clear with control, but loses it to Samway. And now Exotic in an awkward position. Trying to recover, but beat to the ball by Tox. Carrion. Keep it in the corner. Definitely looking very much in the balance at the moment. No team attacking with a huge advantage. And I don't think we've seen a clear-cut chance in overtime yet until now. And it's well saved. That was Stonkers starting to hang on for dear life, but what a save it was.
And they're still fighting it out here. What a great clear, though. Pinches it off the wall. Melashishu does not have the passing option on the wall that he would like to usually have. Stay. That's a risky pass to go for. Exotic had it read immediately. Zamway's by himself. It's this corner that's been so dangerous all series. Exotic couldn't quite find the passing option. Both teams have been happy to give away pressure. Happy to just put all 3 players on the defensive line. Exotic tries to go by himself. It's a well-read challenge, though, from Tox. Head into the corner yet again. Both of these teams have had their opportunities. Neither able to convert just yet.
Samway looking for the scenic route to goal. He's got help from Stake. And just like that, Stonkers take it. You never know when the attack's going to come from these guys. That was one of the easier reads for a player like Stake. He can read just about any bounce. That one is no problem. And Stonkers take 2 games in a row. They have double series point.
So now for Solary, they've got to try and get 2 in a row. And, you know, Johnny, usually I'd be asking right now, you know, what changes they need to make. It really feels to me like both teams have the right ideas as to how to beat each other. This is now all on execution. This is where Rocket League is at its best.
I totally agree. You don't always have to make a gameplay change if you think your style can beat your opponent if you play it well enough. And why not just keep on doing what you're doing? And looking at what we're seeing here in Game 5, I think you can safely say that both teams were capable and were able to get the win in that game. So for Solary, they just have to play at their best. They have to maybe hope that Stonkers make a couple of misplays here and there to help them out. But really, they can't rely on that. They have to just play their own game as well as possible. And rely on their form, rely on their ability to get them those 2 wins in a row. I mean, they did it earlier in the series. They won games 2 and 3 back-to-back. Can they do it again in the most important games of the series?
So we've had a complete rerun, by the way, of what we had during the regular season, where Stonkers have yet again managed to win the Game 5 overtime. But this is the post-credit scene that we head into. Game 6 and 7, your chance to qualify for the RLCS. Can Stonkers manage to turn these around and put themselves into the RLCS, or have Solary got something to say about it? We're going to find out right now. Game 6 is underway.
An incredibly close Game 5. It's finally separated by an assist that was almost impossible for Solary to read. Now, are they going to leave it up to chance like that, try and wait for Stonkers to make a play and react to it? Or are they going to try and play further up the field, get the challenges in before those dangerous touches take place?
It's a dangerous bounce, and it looked like Stake. You said earlier on that you can read almost any bounce. Kind of surprised you managed to get that one, but it seems like you are 100% correct on that analysis. It's going to be awkward, though, for Tox to read. He's missed it. Melashishu skies the shot, followed up by Exotic. It is palmed away from Zamway. And that is a big opportunity for Solary that has gone to the wayside. They've still got pressure, but it looks like they're just too cautious to take advantage of what has been very lackadaisical defensive plays from Stonkers. We're now going to follow it up off the crossbar. No one on the rebound for Stonkers. Both teams looking threatening, but no goals.
Yeah, great chances for both teams. Chances that we might have seen them score earlier in the series, but now the pressure is really on. And we're seeing the exact same play style out of Stonkers as we did in the last two games. They're still playing as fast as they can. Zamway forces a fantastic save out of Exotic. Pulled that one back from beyond the grave, but Solary are hanging on.
Tox for net. What another great save by Exotic. He almost had a third, but it doesn't matter. Stake won them the last game, and he might send them to the RLCS.
That is an unbelievable save by Exotic. He almost had the follow-up save as well. Recovered immediately. Did dodge in the right direction, but the shot was just too good. And, you know, we can talk about how well Exotic was playing in defense there. Had to pause for a second there to make sure Stonkers weren't own goaling. We're back to normal. Stonkers, you know, they are piling on the pressure here. They are bringing the best out of Solary in defense. And then they're still managing to get the ball past them.
The good news for Solary is it looks like Exotic has managed to maintain form that he had in the last game. They've just got to get that little extra out from the rest of the team. Exotic over to the ceiling. He's going to take his time. That's a fantastic play, but he can't beat all three players. It's going to be Zamway to try and give a 2-goal lead. Solary have unfortunately found themselves too much stuck on the defensive side in a game where they are chasing for a goal. As it looks like Stonkers are outpacing their way to the RLCS.
Stonkers' mechanical ability is definitely up there with the best in the world. Should they make RLCS next season, they're definitely going to be giving a lot of teams in the league headaches as they try to keep up with them. Solary have done overall quite a good job with that today. And I think that speaks a lot to their mechanical ability as well. There really are so many teams coming up through the rival series these days. So many new players as well. And just hopping straight into RLCS rosters and showing off that they can play at the highest level. It's a huge chance for Solary. They've got the pressure on. Lots of passing options available, but giving it straight to the defense on the back wall. There is the infield. Carrion right into stake. Still time left in the game for Solary. And for now, they have Stonkers in the defensive end of the field.
Yeah, but a lot of the passing plays they've gone for have been those infielders, and it's almost in again. Exotic caught into action on defense one more time. It'll be Kyrian now trying to face down another shot from stake. He already scored 2 in a row now in the last game and this one. It feels like if Solary are going to score, they're going to need to catch out Stonkers or try and find something different, because the infield passing plays, they have been downloaded. They have been read, and that's on target. Exotic again is the man that keeps his team in it. But how much longer can they get away? Kyrian looks to follow, and it's a clear-cut chance to escape. Exotic is now just, I mean, he is stuck. Perma keeper at the moment, and it's the last place they need him.
One stakes up, but he's contested fast by Exotic, and Carrion fires on target when they needed someone to step up and put a shot on target. It's Carrion this time. The whole team's here to play, and we have got a game 6.
So here is the real test for Stonkers. Can they find that extra goal? It's all good doing it with 5 minutes left because you feel like the pressure's not fully on yet. But now they've got to really push through that barrier. Melashishu leaves it. It's cleared. Exotic looks to chase. Can't quite get it. Melashishu will now start rotating back as stake is challenged. But now it's Zamway. He's got a couple of options. Takes it by himself off the backboard. Tox comes in! And it's put too far to the side. It's no real danger right now for Solary. And it's just so much pressure, though. Will Solary crack? Or will it finally be cleared? It looks like it has been. That was a big opportunity for Stonkers. Will they get one more now? Tox takes his time, realizes Melashishu's by himself. He's got bumped. Tox continues, but Kyrian rotates back. Another shot now on target. Kyrian pops the ball up high, and it's now going to be cleared over to Exotic. He's got to keep it up, and it's gonna drop!
Oh my goodness. You saw it coming. You knew as soon as that shot went on target that it wasn't going to make it, but how close can you be to a Game 7? Can Solary make up for that with an overtime goal? If not, they're going to lowers, and they've got the first big chances. Carrion testing. Stonkers once again. Now Exotic takes a turn. He's bumped from behind. Stonkers really just want to get the ball back in their hands. They're tired of having to defend. They want to attack. They want to show off what they can do. They're going to have to defend. Solary bringing it to them at that end of the field.
Melashishu hasn't really got any passing options there. It's going to be up to Zamway, but it's those little touches where they take a little bit too much time. Stonkers have been caught here a few times this series. Tox, though, takes the ball up high, removed from the field for his troubles. 50 seconds now into the OT. Exotic. Melashishu's got a demo as well. It's an open net. Does Game 7 loom? We're on our way to Champions Field.
And there is the play that makes it happen. Melashishu with a huge demo in the back corner. Tox eliminated from the equation. No defense for Stonkers to speak of. And they've made up for that last second failure in regulation time with a huge overtime goal. What a win for Solary. They were completely up against it here. Stonkers were sending so many shots on target, and they were completely out pressuring them for the majority of the game. But Solary have hung on. They've avoided, these challenges that Stonkers were firing at them. And when they do get the ball out of their half, they are ready to transition every single time and start to apply some pressure of their own.
And that's just not a mental punch to the gut. That is an emotional punch to the gut for Stonkers. They were 1 minute away from the RLCS and it gets snatched away. Exotic is still on outstanding form. 6 saves to his name. He has held the back line and he's kept Solary in it. He didn't get a goal that series. He didn't need one to be my MVP of that game.
Well, absolutely. What a defensive performance by him. Even the one goal that Stonkers did score, Exotic had some phenomenal defense on display. But yeah, we had the whole team getting involved there. Melashishu with the last goal off a great demo out of the play. And we had Carrion getting the previous goal to tie the game with a huge redirect in the midfield. This is a matchup where every single player in the field can go home and be proud of how they've performed. And now it's just up to who can play better when it really does matter most. We're in Game 7, and is this just going to be another case of Stonkers getting the job done in the ace match? Can Solary be the team to secure their RLCS spot? Flip reset shot saved. Melashishu denied by Tox.
Game 7 just hits differently. Everything becomes so much more important as Tox is going to play it all the way back. I mean, you've got to remember, we've got a 4-time world champion in the form of Turbo Pulsar who says that he despises Champions Field because it means that he's in a do-or-die situation. You can only imagine if that's how it feels for him, how it feels for these guys who are still trying to break into the top level of play.
And I mean, based on what we've seen today, it's safe to say that they are competing at a pretty high level. The speed that these teams are going at, that is off target, but not far off. Leading goal for Solary. I'll say the pace of this series has been breathtaking. And RLCS teams watching are going to have to take note. They're going to have to be ready for this because at least one of these teams is coming up to play against them next season.
Tox, plenty of time on the ball, but couldn't quite get it under his own control. It's Exotic. With the setup to Kyrian, it's another huge demo! And they've got themselves the lead!
And the same way that they won the last game puts them ahead in Game 7. Exotic takes out the last man, and the ball bounces in swiftly thereafter. 1-0. They're the team out in front now. Can they do what Stonkers could not and hold on to that lead, get the win in the last game of the winners bracket today?
And they've seen how they've played, it almost feels cruel to ask this, but do Stonkers have another gear? Or is this about as fast as they can go? Because they've now got to try and break down a Solary who will desperately cling on with all they can to this 1-0 lead. As we do see a double demo. Zamway tries to continue a ball on, but Kyrian with a great challenge in the midfield. Tox now by himself. Gets a good challenge as well. That's 2 players out for him. Exotic just slows the pace down. Everybody now from Solary reboosted and repositioned. Stake goes for the backboard. Instead, he puts it on target, and Kieran had to read it very quickly. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle in the background as well. It seems like Stonkers are going to be very happy to play the demo game as well, but they need to get the speed to actually get the demo as well.
That was a fantastic shot. Again, Stonkers really not holding back when it comes to their off-the-wall plays. But a great save coming in for Solary. That has been, for me, the highlight for them in this game and the last one. These saves are keeping them in this, keeping them ahead. And that is exactly half the game gone. Not as many chances for Stonkers, who have been slowed down. They've been stifled by the comeback of their opponents. They're running out of time now. Not many chances have fallen their way this game. And with how well Solary have played in defense, they're going to need to take whichever one comes their way.
Exotic. Over to the corner. This has been where so many goals have been set up previously. Tox has to read it. Recognizing the danger. Tries to go straight on the infield, but that has been read incredibly well. Exotic off the backboard. Looks to get a second touch. Could very well be set. Melashishu dives straight in. Now Exotic's going to go back. He'll be low boosted. Didn't turn up in the midfield. It's another great challenge, which now leaves Exotic all by himself. There's another demo as well. Everybody trying to put that pressure on. They do not want to give up this pressure. Tox moves in, and it's another lost challenge, but a huge miss means that Melashishu and the rest of Solary are still stuck on the defensive line. It's absolute pandemonium over there, but they can't find it off the crossbar from another outstanding save from Exotic. 1-0 we remain.
I have no idea how Exotic has kept that ball out of the net. We saw a phenomenal double mind game from Samway to set up the uncontested shot for Stonkers, but they are going to need to do even better than that, because this goalkeeping from Exotic is keeping Solary ahead in Game 7.
Still, that pressure is on though, and it only takes one mistake on the defensive side to let that goal slip. Now Tox, he's going to have to do some defensive duties. He's lost the ball. Samway over to Tox on the wall, but these challenges constantly going. It's a setup from Exotic to Melashishu, 2-0, and they could be very well RLCS bound.
What a mid-air recovery that is. Exotic realized he could get another touch on that ball, and boy did he make it happen. 2-0. With how well Solary have defended, how on earth do you come back from this position as Stonkers? You've been denied goals for well over 4 minutes of gameplay already. Now you've got to get 2 in less than 30 seconds. That's going to be an easy save for Exotic. He takes it away from danger. And now there's less and less time for Stonkers to play with.
Exotic wins the challenge very well. It's a sentence I've said an awful lot in this game. And with 15 seconds on the clock, it's going to take a miracle for this to turn around. Another challenge win for Exotic. It will be cleared long. We need something right here, right now, but Stake has been demoed. Bounces all the way down. Samway cannot make contact. Welcome to the RLCS. Solary have done it.
What a performance by Exotic. First in defense,